February 21, 1981, the legendary Studio 8H at 30 Rockefeller Plaza was buzzing with the controlled chaos that defined every Saturday Night Live broadcast. As producers, cameramen, and sound engineers prepared for what was scheduled to be a routine musical performance by the relatively unknown Minneapolis artist Prince Rogers Nelson, who had been booked as the evening's musical guest despite having only modest radio success and limited national exposure. The SNL production team had allocated exactly 4 minutes for Prince's performance slot, the standard duration that had been used for musical guests since the show's inception. And everyone from executive producer Dick Ebersol to the camera operators had been briefed on the precise timing requirements that kept live television running smoothly and prevented any disruptions to the carefully orchestrated broadcast schedule. Prince himself had been informed multiple times during rehearsals that his performance window was non-negotiable, 4 minutes maximum, including any stage setup or transitions. With the understanding that exceeding this time limit would create serious problems for the show's timing and potentially result in content being cut from other segments. But what the SNL crew, the studio audience, and the millions of viewers watching at home could never have anticipated was that Prince Rogers Nelson had no intention of limiting himself to their prescribed time constraints, and that his decision to ignore the 4-minute rule and continue performing into what became the most audacious and transformative 5th minute in Saturday Night Live history would not only shock everyone in Studio 8H, but fundamentally change how live television handled spontaneous artistic expression, creating a legendary moment that producers and performers would reference for decades as the night when raw musical genius refused to be confined by corporate television scheduling and prove that sometimes the most important artistic statements happen when artists choose authenticity over compliance, passion over protocol, and creative truth over commercial convenience. If you want to discover the moments when Prince proved that true artistry cannot be contained by time limits or television executives, and that the most powerful performances happen when artists refuse to compromise their creative vision for anyone's convenience, please subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. What you're about to witness shows that sometimes breaking the rules creates magic that lasts far longer than following them ever could. Saturday Night Live in 1981 was at a crucial transition point, having survived the departure of original cast members and the challenges of maintaining relevance in an increasingly competitive television landscape. The show's booking of relatively unknown musical acts was part of a strategy to discover emerging talent while keeping production costs manageable. Prince's invitation to appear on SNL had come through his manager, who had convinced the show's talent coordinators that Prince represented an exciting new sound that could help attract younger viewers while showcasing genuine musical innovation. However, Prince's limited mainstream success and unconventional image had made the booking somewhat controversial within NBC's corporate structure. The standard 4-minute performance slot had been established as part of SNL's format to ensure precise timing for a live broadcast that needed to accommodate multiple comedy sketches, commercial breaks, and the complex technical requirements of switching between different studio setups. Musical guests typically performed one song during the show, with performances carefully rehearsed and timed to fit the show's rigid scheduling demands. During the week of rehearsals leading up to the February 21st broadcast, Prince had seemed to accept the time limitations while focusing intensively on the technical aspects of his performance, working with SNL sound engineers and lighting directors. However, several crew members had noticed that Prince's rehearsal sessions often extended beyond the allotted 4 minutes, with the artist seemingly losing track of time when he became absorbed in his performance. That Saturday evening, the show had proceeded normally through its opening segments, with host Charlene Tilton and the cast delivering sketches that maintained SNL's characteristic blend of topical humor and absurd comedy. The audience was engaged and responsive, creating the kind of energetic atmosphere that made live television performances more dynamic and unpredictable. When the moment came for Prince's musical performance, he appeared on the Studio 8H stage with his characteristic confidence and focus, dressed in an outfit that reflected his unique aesthetic while carrying the electric guitar that had become central to his artistic identity. The song he had chosen was an original composition that showcased his musical range while maintaining the energy and rhythm that would work effectively in a live television context. As Prince began his performance, it quickly became clear that he was delivering something extraordinary. With his guitar work demonstrating technical skills and creative approaches that impressed even the experienced SNL crew members who had worked with countless musical guests. His stage presence was magnetic and authentic, creating the kind of connection with the studio audience that transforms a television performance from mere entertainment into genuine artistic communication. The first 3 minutes of Prince's performance unfolded exactly as rehearsed, with every musical cue and stage movement occurring precisely as planned. The camera operators followed their predetermined shooting schedule, the sound engineers maintained optimal audio levels, and the production team monitored the clock with their usual professional attention to timing requirements. But as Prince approached the 4-minute mark that was supposed to signal the end of his television slot, something remarkable happened that would become one of the most talked about moments in SNL history. Instead of bringing his song to its planned conclusion, Prince seamlessly transitioned into an extended improvisation that demonstrated not only his exceptional musical abilities, but his complete commitment to artistic authenticity, regardless of corporate television constraints. Before we reveal what Prince did in that legendary 5th minute that shocked everyone in Studio 8H and created a moment that television executives would study for decades to come, I want to ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to choose between following the rules and staying true to what you believed was right? How did you handle that choice, and what happened as a result? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The 5th minute of Prince's performance began with what appeared to be a brief instrumental bridge, leading many viewers and crew members to assume that he was simply extending his conclusion slightly before wrapping up his song. However, as the improvisation continued and developed into increasingly complex musical territories, it became clear that Prince was creating something entirely new and unplanned, using the live television platform to explore musical ideas that could only exist in the moment. What made this extension so remarkable was not just its musical quality, but the way Prince maintained complete control over his artistic vision while adapting to the unique energy and constraints of live television performance. His guitar work during the 5th minute incorporated techniques and harmonic approaches that demonstrated years of musical study and experimentation, while his stage presence remained confident and engaging despite the obvious tension his timing deviation was creating among the production staff. In the SNL control room, the reaction to Prince's extended performance was a mixture of professional concern and growing recognition that they were witnessing something extraordinary. Director Dave Wilson and his team faced a real-time decision about how to handle a situation that had never occurred in the show's history. A musical guest who was creating compelling television content but completely ignoring the established time limitations. The technical crew's response revealed their professionalism and adaptability, as camera operators continued to capture dynamic footage while sound engineers maintained optimal audio quality despite having no advanced knowledge of what musical directions Prince might explore. The lighting directors adapted their predetermined setup to accommodate the longer performance, creating visual effects that enhanced rather than distracted from the unexpected musical journey. Meanwhile, the studio audience's reaction to Prince's extended performance was overwhelmingly positive, with their energy and engagement increasing as they realized they were experiencing something unique and unscripted. The authentic excitement in Studio 8H was palpable, creating the kind of electric atmosphere that rarely occurs during standard television productions. As Prince's improvisation continued into territory that no one could have anticipated, his musical choices demonstrated both his technical mastery and his intuitive understanding of how to create compelling content for a live television audience. The extended guitar work included melodic developments, rhythmic variations, and harmonic progressions that showcased his compositional abilities while maintaining the kind of energy and focus that kept viewers engaged rather than confused or restless. The most remarkable aspect of Prince's Fifth Minute was how it transformed what could have been a scheduling problem into a demonstration of artistic courage and creative authenticity. Rather than simply defying television conventions for the sake of rebellion, Prince used the unexpected time to create music that justified its own existence and proved that artistic inspiration cannot always be contained within predetermined commercial frameworks. When Prince finally brought his extended performance to a conclusion after nearly 6 minutes of total stage time, the silence in Studio 8H was profound, lasting several seconds as both the studio audience and production crew processed what they had just witnessed. The applause that followed was sustained and enthusiastic, reflecting genuine appreciation for a performance that had exceeded everyone's expectations, while creating the kind of memorable television moment that viewers would discuss for years. Now I want to ask you something that might change how you think about creativity and authority. When have you witnessed someone take a risk that initially seemed inappropriate but ultimately created something valuable that wouldn't have existed otherwise? The most inspiring part of this story is about to unfold. The immediate aftermath of Prince's extended performance revealed the complex dynamics that govern live television production when unexpected events challenge established protocols. In the control room, producers quickly assessed the impact of the timing deviation on the remaining segments, while simultaneously recognizing that Prince's extended performance had created content that was more engaging and memorable than most standard musical guest appearances. Dick Ebersol, the executive producer, later described his reaction to Prince's Fifth Minute as a mixture of professional frustration and artistic appreciation, acknowledging that while the extended performance had created scheduling complications, it had also demonstrated the kind of authentic artistic expression that made live television compelling and unpredictable. The technical impact was managed through quick adjustments to the show's remaining segments, with some planned content being trimmed slightly to accommodate the additional time while ensuring that the broadcast concluded at its scheduled time. This kind of real-time adaptation demonstrated the professionalism and flexibility of the SNL production team. More significantly, Prince's willingness to extend his performance beyond the prescribed 4 minutes created a precedent that would influence how SNL and other live television programs approached musical guest performances in subsequent years. The success of Prince's extended improvisation demonstrated that audiences responded positively to authentic artistic expression even when it deviated from standard television formats. The media response to Prince's SNL performance was immediate and largely positive, with television critics and music journalists recognizing that they had witnessed something unique in the context of live television performance. The extended improvisation was cited as evidence of Prince's artistic integrity and creative courage, while demonstrating his ability to adapt his musical vision to television performance demands. Within the music industry, Prince's SNL performance became legendary as an example of an artist refusing to compromise his creative vision for television conventions, inspiring other musicians to approach live television appearances with greater artistic ambition, while maintaining respect for the collaborative nature of broadcast production. The performance was frequently cited in discussions about artistic authenticity and the balance between creative expression and commercial constraints. For Prince personally, the SNL performance represented a significant moment in his national career trajectory, introducing his music and artistic personality to a much larger audience while establishing his reputation as a performer who prioritized artistic authenticity over conventional entertainment industry protocols. The extended performance demonstrated his confidence and creative maturity in ways that standard 4-minute television appearances could never have revealed. The lasting impact of Prince's Fifth Minute extended beyond its immediate entertainment value to influence conversations about creativity, artistic authority, and the relationship between individual expression and institutional frameworks. The performance became a case study in how authentic artistic vision could transform potentially disruptive situations into opportunities for creating content that exceeded original expectations and proved more memorable than conventional approaches. Today, Prince's extended SNL performance is remembered as a defining moment in both his career and the history of live television. demonstrating that sometimes the most important artistic statements emerge when performers choose creative truth over commercial convenience and prove that genuine artistic expression can create value that justifies temporary disruption of established systems. The lesson from that February evening remains relevant for anyone navigating situations where creative vision conflicts with institutional expectations. The most meaningful contributions often require the courage to prioritize authentic expression over convenient compliance, and the willingness to trust that genuine artistic truth will ultimately create value that exceeds any temporary complications its pursuit might cause. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of Prince's most audacious demonstrations of artistic courage that proved true creativity cannot be confined by time limits or television executives. If this story inspired you to believe in the power of authentic expression over convenient conformity, please subscribe and share your own experiences of choosing creative truth over institutional expectations in the comments below.